Exposing skincare brands that are guilty of greenwashing, and then discussing sustainable alternatives and what sustainability actually is. Greenwashing is a term that speaks about when companies or corporations slap an eco-friendly, a green, or a planet-friendly label on their products or services without backing that up. Some excellent examples are what we see from H&M with their sustainable clothing line, yet they are one of the lead contributors to waste on the entire planet. Greenwashing is kind of this fake support that isn't substantiated or backed up. And especially with the rise of this clean or green beauty, yeah, we've been seeing a ton of it in skincare. It's harmful because it puts this fake sense of security on the consumer. We know that consumption leads to direct waste. There are certain things that we have to consume, but it's no secret that we often overconsume those things, and I myself am very guilty of that in the skincare space. And I'm trying my best, but it's hard. Greenwashing helps customers justify their decisions. It says it's green, so I can buy 500 of them and just dispose of them after one use, when really that's not what sustainability is about. To play devil's advocate, you could say, well, at least this raises awareness. Some people say that brands are virtue signaling, which may be true. Maybe a brand is trying to promote or push a certain message when they don't actually believe in it. And one of the counter arguments is that, okay, while it would be better if they truly believed in it, it's better than doing nothing. At least it is raising some sort of awareness. If they stayed silent, would that be any better? Is it good that they're at least trying? I don't know, but there are definitely some brands, they're really pushing the greenwashing, they're not actually backing it up, and it seems that the only reason they're doing this is to take people's money. Even John Oliver did a really great video talking about how some of these brands are putting the blame back on the consumer, and that is often what's happening with a lot of sustainable brands. Companies are saying you need to buy this green, clean product, which is often more expensive and higher priced than non-green counterpart products, but basically saying it's you as the consumer, your responsibility to buy these green products and then recycle them properly, when in reality we should be holding the large companies and corporations responsible for contributing to and creating this waste in the first place. So how can you spot greenwashing? There is no tried and true way. This is a very subjective video, and it basically comes from looking at a lot of different data points in the industry and trying to make decisions based on those. But there are certain things you can look for. Specifically, number one, palm oil. Palm oil is detrimental to the planet. To get it, you have to cut down rainforests. Forests and trees are literally the lungs of the earth, and we are destroying those for the sake of palm oil. They are also killing orangutans, among other animals, in these areas that rely on these forests to live. Speaking of animals, any product that has animal byproducts in it, probably greenwashing. When you think about animal agriculture, it is the #1 cause of greenhouse gases on this planet that are defined by science. When you think of an animal, it's not just the secretions of that animal or the ingredients from their hooves or bones that are being put in skincare. You have to think about the land it takes to raise that animal, if they're getting land at all, or the warehouse or farm factory that they're in. You have to think about how much land, water, resources it takes to grow the corn, the soy, the grass, the food that you then feed to those animals for a period of 5 to 7 years to get them plump enough to secrete or slaughter. And that entire process is entirely unsustainable. You have to use a ton of land, water, and food to get that to happen. And again, I know that some people don't watch these videos because I make people uncomfortable. I call out brands when they deserve to be called out. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable, but I think we should all be aware of the situation so that when we see it happening, at least we're aware of it, and we can choose when and where to do what we're able to. So please stick with me through this one because it's the truth. She's gonna tell it as it is, and she is not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Another way to spot greenwashing is through packaging that is not recyclable or made from post-consumer recycled materials. A lot of people automatically think that glass is more sustainable. While it is true that glass can be recycled an infinite amount of times, glass is actually heavier and it costs more in carbon emissions to ship to or from places. There are plastics that are either made from post-consumer recycled sources or plastics that can be recycled completely. But if a brand is not donating to environmental conservation, if they are not making that recycling process clear, if they're not notifying consumers of that, then just saying you've got a recycled package or a partly recycled package is not doing much. So with these criteria, among other things in mind, let's see if you can identify which of these skincare and beauty companies are greenwashing versus which ones are actually sustainable. This is the innisfree hydrating serum that is in the Hello, I Am Paper packaging. This comes from a Korean Korea. They're a very famous Korean brand that you also find in Sephora. And they claim that this uses 51% less plastic packaging. This product is formulated with no animal ingredients, and it does actually come in a jumbo size because, you know, buying in bulk is more sustainable. So, is this greenwashing or is this sustainable? This is greenwashing. Did you get that right or wrong? And again, on the outside, it looks super great. Paper packaging, larger size, no animal product. Isn't this super sustainable? Well, here's the problem. It looks like paper, but it's not. This actually has plastic in it. And although the brand slightly alluded to the fact that there's plastic, they really did not make that clear. Especially innisfree as a brand uses a ton of plastic packaging. They don't talk about how you can recycle that. And they do ship products a lot throughout the world, which again, many brands are guilty of. This is greenwashing. They did apologize for it, which is a nice touch that we don't always see. But coming from this brand who also even tests on animals, I am A, not a fan, and B, this has plastic in it without making that clear to people. It looks like paper, it's not. This is greenwashing. And while you're here, can you recycle the like button? It doesn't have a sticker. You maybe just want to rinse it clean, but that like button needs to be recycled. It can be recycled infinitely. Please go ahead and do so. And also, if you want more videos exposing different brands and the stories and science behind them, the subscribe button is right there. Welcome to the butterfly family. Oh my God, look at how much better it is when it's recycled. And we didn't even have to ship it overseas. Now that is recycling at its finest. Now let's take a look at this. This is a makeup collection called the Clean Collection from Covergirl. They're all about being more sustainable, and Covergirl actually went cruelty-free a few years ago. They actually sent me some of these products in PR, and when they did, they sent them in these really cool kind of packages that you can basically plant in the ground and they grow seeds, which was a really nice touch. So take a look at this. Is this sustainable or is this greenwashing? This is greenwashing. I know it says clean. I know they sent it to me in a biodegradable package, but did you know that there's no actual definition of the term biodegradable, which I didn't know until watching Shel Bisley's content. And even though I could plant this and these little seed papers in my garden, all of the other products that Covergirl is putting on shelves are not. This is frustrating for me as I love Covergirl as a brand, but they are also owned by some of the large conglomerates. Most of all brands are owned by the same 5 to 7 parent companies. Most people don't realize that. And yes, Covergirl is owned by one of these. These large conglomerates own hundreds of thousands of brands, most of the brands that you see in Sephora and Ulta and even on supermarket shelves, and they are single-handedly responsible for most of the world's plastic waste. Yes, this even includes Nestle. Covergirl is a brand that I sadly do love. I do use and like some of their products, but all of the products you get on shelves are made with this plastic packaging. And just because they made their mascara green, you still can't recycle this package. There's really no way to wash that out or separate components. From what I can tell, Covergirl is not donating to environmental resources or to do anything to actually step up to the plate to either raise awareness or funds for any environmental conservation efforts. So nope, this is blatant greenwashing. Not to mention that the ingredients in the mascara on this one actually really sucked. How about 3 Ships? This brand at Target claims to have this paper packaging. They claim to be more sustainable and eco-friendly, but they're still trucked across the world. They were made in Canada by an engineer, and they seem to have this really eco-friendly look to them. What do you think? Greenwashing or not? I actually consider this one slightly more sustainable. This paper packaging is actually paper packaging, and even inside some of those, they do have glass bottles. On their website, they talk about how they define natural and how it is different for them, and they actually talk about how they use natural products in the laboratory, actually using science to back things up. They have no animal ingredients, nor do they do animal testing, which is a huge cut above the rest, and they are extraordinarily transparent about the sourcing of their ingredients, and transparency is really important when we're looking at the environmental impact of things. That being said, I do wish that they spoke a little bit more about what steps they're doing to help with sustainability. I do wish that they were more transparent about any organizations that they do or don't donate to, but what I do like is that on their Instagram, they do talk about their sustainability practices. Again, not only are they actual paper and cardboard, but it is post-consumer recycled cardboard. And because they are founded and made in Canada, this does help with shipping emissions, considering that I believe they do ship to the US and Canada at this time. Overall, I do wish that I knew more, but for now, yes, this one does appear to be more sustainable to me, and it is one that is available at Target, so at least it's accessible and affordable for people. How about Peace Love Planet? Another brand that's available at Target. They mainly do hair care. All of their packaging says that it's made from half recycled plastic, but again, it's only half recycled. They seem to have really cool branding. They are not tested on animals, and most of their products are vegan. But they do have one product that has goat milk in it. What do we think? Is this sustainable or not? If you've watched Kristen Leo or Shel Bisley, then you know this is blatant greenwashing. This is, yes, 50% post-consumer recycled plastic, which is great, but this still creates a ton of plastic waste. Love Beauty Planet is not doing anything to love the planet, and they're actually made by, again, one of these large corporations, these large conglomerates, Unilever, and they are known to be one of the most wasteful ones out there. Also, they're using blatant animal products in the goat milk. I'm so sorry, why do we need to take the secretions of goats and feed the goats and make the goats live for years and then slaughter the goats to get this stuff? Like, I understand you don't need to slaughter goats to get the milk out of their mammary glands, but did you know that the animals that produce the milk and the secretions end up going to slaughter when they can't produce that anymore? It is just not sustainable. They just basically took the 3 things millennials love most and shoved it in a bottle. There is not much sustainable about this. I do consider it greenwashing. And again, this is where that kind of devil's advocate comes out to play and basically says, okay, it is greenwashing, but same with Covergirl. Like, at least they're doing something, right? And if they see more people supporting these, maybe they will make more conscious efforts to be sustainable. Maybe, which again is a good thing. It's better than not having anything, but I would recommend trying to put your money towards brands that are actually doing more to be more sustainable, or even shopping locally so that you can get things that are nearby that you don't have to ship across the country on a hot, sweaty 16-wheeler truck. How about this one? Do we think that Arbonne is greenwashing or not? Arbonne is an MLM company, which is an extraordinarily unethical business model, and some of their products are plastic packaged. But at the same time, when you look at their website, they do have this green imagery. They say that there's some recycling going on. They do state that they don't use toxic ingredients, whatever that means. They seem to be trying to do their part, even though the MLM model is unethical and it exploits people, and hardly anyone ever makes money unless you are at the very top, where you're not making money by selling the products, you're making money off of other people's backs that are below you, is besides the point, because you do have to get these through distributors that live near you or nearby. So what do we think about this one? Greenwashing or not? This is blatant greenwashing, not to mention the MLM blasphemy. John Oliver did another video on MLMs too that I would highly recommend you watch, where he explains why these companies are so problematic. And yes, even if you are ordering these locally from someone who is selling them, they aren't coming directly from the distributor. They're still coming from the large corporation being shipped across the nation in these gas-guzzling trucks to get to you. The packaging is not sustainable. They don't talk about recycling. They don't do much to support environmental groups. They do have some animal ingredients inside of their products. And yes, their website does have all of this green imagery saying that it's non-toxic and it's environmentally friendly. Where are the claims to back that up? A common thing in greenwashing is having all of this green icons and imagery that makes it look super earth-friendly without doing anything to back it up. Where's the recycling? Where are the donations? Where's the advocacy? Show us how we are actually doing that. And you can't even refill these bottles if you wanted to. I don't see this as sustainable, not to mention what you're doing to the humans involved. This is greenwashing. Now, how about yours? I've actually tried this brand, and they do have this blatant clean marketing. They say that they're eco-friendly, but they have these plastic packages. They are made in Switzerland, and they are really transparent about their ingredients and where they come from, and they do talk a little bit about how to recycle on their website. What do you think? Is this one sustainable or greenwashing? When I first saw this one, I thought it was greenwashing because of the plastic bottles. I was like, really? And I actually gave it a try, and when I did, I looked into the website, and actually seeing that they have a recycling guide on there. They talk about how to recycle the products and how to recycle your other beauty products so that we can make better choices with the limited but important power that we do have as consumers. Was really cool. They do have this clean marketing, which I hate, but they do back it up. It's not clean with no definition. They're actually very transparent about where they source their ingredients from, which yes, does come from some plant sources, but they don't have animal sources. They are not taking the milk or the secretions, out of someone else's udder. The plastic packaging did concern me, and after I did that Battle of the Brands video where I actually tested out customized skincare brands, I had a chance to talk to the founder, and she actually explained to me why she didn't use glass, and it's because of the increased carbon emissions that happen with that. She explained that the airless pumps that they have are made so that you can fully recycle things, and even the little eye pen, because they couldn't make that with plastic in a sustainable way, they They did make their I Love You, it's not an eye cream, it's like an eye serum, but they made that eye and face serum to be in this glass packaging. What's also amazing is that they've committed to going carbon neutral and to doing everything they can for the planet. They've actually made donations to environmental conservation, and so they're not just saying it, they're actually backing it up. They're also a small brand, they're not owned by one of these large conglomerates or corporations. The founder, Navneet, actually worked at Uber here in the San Francisco Bay Area and took her wisdom and knowledge from tech as well as her love for beauty to create this customized skincare brand. And what's also great is that they don't lock you into a subscription. Even some sustainable brands are locking people into subscriptions, and let's be honest, it's a hard pill to swallow, but again, ya big sister's not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Part of being sustainable is not over-consuming and doing what you can to consume less. And if you want a subscription, that's fine, but sometimes these subscriptions just end up with you getting products that you didn't actually need and going to waste. You can get a subscription from yours, but you can also choose to just buy individual customized products or not opt into that subscription. I think that they're doing a great job with transparency. They're doing a great job to help people recycle. They're doing what they can as a small company, and yes, I do consider them sustainable. Next, let's talk about Juice Beauty. This is a company that's in the Northern Bay Area, and they do have some glass packaging, but as we know, glass doesn't automatically mean they're sustainable. They have this organic marketing, they don't have any animal ingredients, but is this brand sustainable? Or looking at their website with all of these green icons, are they blatantly greenwashing? In my opinion, Juice Beauty is sustainable. I've actually had a chance to visit both their offices and yes, their farm. Did you know that they have a farm where they source some of their grapes? And even though they use this natural and organic language and verbiage, they actually use science to back up their claims. The founder's name is Karen. She actually drives an electric vehicle, and she made the entire office solar powered. And everything inside of their office is as green, as eco-friendly, and as sustainable as it can be. Even her husband is actually a medical doctor, a cardiologist, and he uses his scientific background to help create products that are actually good inside of the line. Not only do they have an actual farm, but their farm is at the highest certification of organic soil. I am not in agriculture, so I don't understand this kind of stuff, but I guess there are different levels of how many pesticides or pollutants you are putting into waterways. And they took the time and initiative to do something to their farm to make sure that it reached the highest level of environmental safety standards, which means they're not creating runoff or pollution in their waterways. They do have some plastic packages. Again, they do have some glass, which is great because it's fully recyclable. I wish they spoke a little bit more about how they recycle some of these things or kind of taught consumers about that, but they are probably one of the oldest kind of actually sustainable brands in the industry, and they've been both donating and doing environmentally friendly things for years. Again, down to the electric vehicles that consume no gas, all the way to the solar panel office, to the fact that their products don't contain animal ingredients, and even at any of the events, because again, I live close by, any of the times that I've been invited there, all of the food has been vegan, and making sure that you eat foods that does not use animals to obtain, again, back to that animal farming industry. You can grow the plants and you can eat or use the plants directly, or you can grow the plants for 7 to 10 years, feed them to the animals over and over and over again, and then kill the animal for what, 500 pounds of beef? So the fact that they do that is actually backing up their claims. They also back up their organic claims and their antioxidant claims with science. I am a huge fan of both their skincare and their makeup, and yes, I consider them sustainable. So what did you think? How many of these did you get right versus get wrong? This was fun, and again, it is very subjective. I'm using quantitative and qualitative points to kind of get to some of these answers, and I would love to know if you agree or disagree. Make sure that you recycle that like button and do the same with the subscribe button while you're here. Always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. Remove the stickers from your bottles before you recycle them, and call your politicians and tell them to tell the big companies to step the fuck up. I love you, beautiful butterflies, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.